Former Chicago Mayor and Chief of Staff for President Obama, Rahm Emanuel, joins us here at WBZ-TV. Rahm, we thank you for joining us.
Thanks.
And he's in this part of the world because he's getting ready to get moving on a bike tour of New Hampshire to talk with the people of the Granite State. There's so many places you could be, Rahm, so we have to start with why New Hampshire?
Well, it's a beautiful state and it's a beautiful time of year. But also, I was just up here, I gave an announcement up at Dartmouth on how to make college more affordable. And back for this bike trip. I love to bike, but it's also hear what's on people's minds and listen to them, talk to them. And I've done, this will be my fourth bike trip in the States. Did all of Lake Michigan, the Oregon coast, etc. Did 4 when I was ambassador to Japan. And I really enjoy it because it's a way to see things, hear, talk. I'll be at cafes, 5 town halls. But as I also think about what I'm going to do if I'm going to run for higher office.
And we're absolutely going to get to that in a second, but we got to make sure that people know. Yeah, we're going to get to that. So that's great that you brought that up on your own.
You got that kind of magic wand finger.
We're getting there. But it's also important that you mention you're doing 110 miles, and it's going to do something wonderful for kids. Make sure you don't leave that part out.
No, I won't. So we have raised actually $22,000, and so we asked everybody to buy a bike per mile.
Right.
And we've got it. So there's a bike program set up in New Hampshire to give bikes to disadvantaged children, and we're going to give 120 bikes away.
All right.
And we've raised all the money already. Doesn't mean that folks don't want to give more. We'll make sure they have the information to do that. But we have done that, and it's a program that I thought, if I'm going to do this, we're also going to, more than just what I learned, which will be the most important thing I take away, but also to give something back to the state and for the kids that don't have a bike but will enjoy that biking.
All right. See, we got to make sure we don't leave that part out.
Oh, yeah.
And now we can have you lean in. Now we can get to the tea. We talked about a presidential run. Obviously, this looks like a run-up to a presidential race. What would you want to change as the leader of the U.S.?
Oh, first of all, I think we're all playing too much divided with each other. I mean, what I mean by that, we have a president of the United States got the whole political system dealing with redistricting. China's off doing research. He's arguing about his ballroom. They're building ballistic missiles. He's building an arch to himself, and families can't afford a meal at the Golden Arches. So to me, we're actually not focused on what we got to focus on. Now, I grew up at a time where people could strive to get a middle-class life. Today, you struggle to stay in it. You have kids graduating college, they got $30,000 in debt. Parents are missing medications to make sure that their kids have health care. People are taking money out of a 401k because they can't make the paycheck get to the 31st of the month. And if you were to do something, is enough with this Hunger Games fighting each other. Let's focus on the goal, restoring, in fact, a middle-class life that it's more accessible and affordable to more Americans, and work together to solve that problem. Now, I don't think that's going to be easy, but we right now have a country divided by wealth, and we have a political system that is in constant battle about politics and not about solving problems. And if you look at my record working for President Obama, passing health care reform, taking on and reforming the financial institutions, the banks and the insurance company, or for President Clinton, balancing the budget and giving 10 million kids health care that never had it before, or in Chicago, if you got to be average, we're the first city that made community college free and made kindergarten and pre-K universal. And a primary thing that I care about, 50% of our kids can't read at grade level.
Which is stunning.
Yes, and nobody is dealing with it like it's an emergency. We are sleepwalking into the future. So that would be what I would focus on.
And this actually takes me to my next question, because education is something that you have long focused on.
Yeah. Well, at a different part of my life, when I was going to college, I wanted to be an early childhood educator and then child psychology. My dad was a pediatrician, and it's kind of in the bones. But when I walked in as mayor, Chicago had the worst public school system. When I walked out, Stanford University's lead education prognosticator said it's the single best of the top 100. We drove graduation rates from 56% to 83%. We drew our reading and math scores for our kids were somewhere around 6 months ahead of their peers across the country. And it takes a lot. You got to fight it. But if you don't do an education in a period of time where you earn what you learn, you ain't get there. And we were the first city also to do something called Learn, Plan, Succeed, which I'm really proud of. And I say we because it took everybody.
That's right.
Which is to get your high school diploma. And we helped you you had to produce a letter of acceptance from a college, a community college, a branch of the armed forces, or a vocational school. I don't care, you want to be an electrician, you want to be an educator, or you want to be an engineer. You're not walking graduation day until you tell us where you're walking to. And 98% of the kids in Chicago met that standard. To get their diploma, they produced college letter acceptance, community college acceptance, or a branch of the armed forces, a Marine, Air Force, or an electrician or a carpenter. I'm agnostic, but you ain't stopping at 18. And we gave everybody a plan to help achieve that goal.
And speaking of higher education, now we know, again, as a Chicago native, I know you gave access to full-day kindergarten and increased funding and availability of early childhood education programs. But on a different level, we're talking about higher education. You've got some plans there to reform that as well. Can you explain them? And of course, the question everybody always wants to know before you get through your explanation, how is it going to be paid for?
Okay, so I'll start with what you get, and then I'll tell you exactly where the tab goes.
Okay.
One, if a student gets 20 college credits in high school, the college has to offer that student a 3-year BA, not a 4-year. So mom and dad save $75,000 on tuition. Okay, now, as everybody says, well, and I said, Oxford and Cambridge in England, they do a 3-year bachelor's. They just do it, and nobody's rejected them because they only didn't have a 4th year. Number 2, if you make less than $200,000 in your family, tuition free. Number 3, if you make more than $200,000, tuition does not go up more than inflation of that year. The pay for is 3 things. 1, allow colleges and universities to take up to 20% of their students foreign. Those foreign students pay full price. They pay the whole package. So foreign students would subsidize American discount. Number 2, every university and college spends a huge amount of money, lawyers, accountants, etc., complying with the federal government. Identify 10% savings that you think is crazy, and we let you keep 100% of the money, the university and the college. And then third, which I happen to think this is absolutely reckless by President Trump, is he's declared war on higher education. They're spending a huge amount of money, lawyers, accountant, public relations, and distraction of time. Cease and desist the war. We go back to college education, go back to running the school systems, make sure that you have, now 20% of your students, graduate, undergraduate, you decide, are going to be foreign. They will subsidize the discount you'll give to American families. That's how you pay for it. That's how you make sure, because today, I can't speak to you, but I can speak to my age. College education was supposed to be a benefit. That's how you punch your meal ticket into the middle class. Today, it's become a burden. I saw this when I was mayor and I did free community college if you got to be average. The relief in parents' eyes that they did not have to pick which child got to college.
Could go.
Or mom and dad sat there, at the kitchen table later on at night. Who takes the second job, or do we take a second mortgage?
Trying to figure out how to make it work.
You should never put a family in a vice where they have to pick between their lifestyle or whether their children have a ticket. And so to me, that's how I think about it. Now, I want to race all the way backwards because I've talked about reforming the high school years. I've talked about when you get out of the military, we'll give you a signing bonus to go into the trades. I've talked about how to reform and exercise and modernize our community college systems, the unseen, unforgotten, and then how to make sure early childhood years get back to the basics and read and do it. That's why I went to Hattiesburg, Mississippi. So I have a plan, what I call the pre-K to BA plan. And if you're running for president and you're not talking about education for the American children, you're not talking about America's future. Okay? Now, I don't know. Everybody will do what they're going to do. You can look at every piece of it from early years, high school years, community college or vocational ed, and then 4-year institutions. I've laid out a very specific and detailed plan, and I think we owe that to the American people, an adult conversation about the future.
Absolutely, and a big part of that you touched on allows me to segue into my next question here, because a big burden for families in terms of college is the affordability. Not that the children don't want to go, not that they're not smart enough to go, but it's can we afford to send them even with that second or third job? You and I, before the cameras were on, both of us went to college. Yes. Okay? And that was our parents' dream for us. They knew that, okay, that has become a burden for folks. That has put them, the whole family behind an 8 ball.
That's what I mean by the middle class life or the American dream being literally stolen from people. And that's what's driven our politics crazy. And I wouldn't be sitting in front of you today if it wasn't for what my dad was an immigrant, my mom was a family of immigrants, how my parents struggled to make sure that the kids had a future. It was all focused on education. And I really believe, you know, we live in a time where you earn what you learn. And what we did in Chicago was, if you wanted college, great. You wanted to go to community college, even greater, better, because those kids are never seen or heard or respected. You want to become a carpenter, an electrician, or you want to go to the Marine and the Air Force, I don't care and I'm agnostic. But I want you to be best prepared to make the most of each of those. And each one of those will be how you punch your ticket into the middle class.
And speaking of punching your ticket into the middle class and the American dream, another way that people feel like they're being robbed of that is the opportunity to be able to afford a home. When we're talking about real estate, especially here in Massachusetts, I mean, the prices are astronomical.
Yeah.
You have a proposal that would also help with people's down payment, something else that will definitely get people's attention.
You have done your research.
Listen, that's what we do here at WBZ. So explain that for people who
Sure.
haven't heard this before. What is your plan? And of course, who would pay for it?
Well, there's two things. There's a couple things, but the big piece in the problem is first-time home. So what I said is, if you do 2 years of national service, we'll give you the money for a down payment. That's the biggest nut. Today, you know where that down payment is? Your student debt, which is why nobody can get there, which is why it used to be 26 was the average age for first time. Now it's 40.
Yes.
Okay, and so it's all tied up with what you did for college. So I have somewhat of, I think, a workable plan here. Also there, now the way I pay for it is I don't believe people should get a mortgage deduction for their recreational home if it's not their primary home. Now, Amy and I are lucky. Our 3 kids are doing fabulous. 2 in the armed forces after college. They're now Navy, both are Navy Reserve, 1 went full-time. We're empty nesters, so we got something for ourselves for the next chapter of our life. I'm getting a mortgage deduction. That is crazy. We have a primary home, but I'm getting a mortgage deduction for a second home? So my view is, first and foremost, that's not allowed. You take, that's $11 billion, take $3 billion and help individuals who do 2 years of AmeriCorps, Teach for America. You get the money for a down payment in your neighborhood, in your community. Second, there'd be a pool of resources, depending on how the math works, about $6 to $7 billion, and use that to adjust, because what is the problem is the real estate developers are not building what are called starter homes, 1,500 square feet. Clearly, there's an imbalance because that's where the gum up of the works are. And the money would be used to actually cut through the bureaucracy, cut through the red tape, and help jumpstart a place where the market is not actually addressing where the need is. The real problems in America are, the fact is, people wanting to start on the American dream of owning a home. The builders are not addressing it because it's not economical. We know that rules, regulations, land costs are the big issues. So use those resources to blow through the system that has clogged up the works and get that part of, I hate using this term, the market, working again. But my most important thing, you serve the country, we're going to help you on your first part of the journey to a middle-class life. 2 years teaching kids, down payment on a home. 2 years tutoring kids, down payment on a home. 2 years cleaning up river and doing other things in your community that count as of AmeriCorps, working in AmeriCorps or Teach for America or City Year. We'll help you with a down payment for your home. We got to build a GI for national service. This is the time to build America. We did it for Europe. Now do it here.
We've got some things to follow for sure as we keep up with you on this journey, Rahm.
The journey would be the bike ride. You will be sending RX there to make sure I'm okay, right?
Something like that. Something like that. Of course, immigration, something that there are new developments every day, for better or worse, whether you agree with what is happening right now or not, but it continues to be a major topic. How would you deal with the issue? This is a huge issue. It's not an easy issue. It's a splintered issue. There's a lot going on there. So it's hard to ask that question, but how would you deal with the issue in a Congress that may be split?
Yeah, it's a very good question. So I start with two principles.
Okay.
We're a nation of laws that have to be enforced, and we're a nation of immigrants that have to be respected. I grew up, my dad was an immigrant, and my grandfather on my mother's side was an immigrant who lived with us. In the wall on our family room was my grandmother's purse. Above that was the passports that allowed my grandmother at the turn of the century and my two great aunts to come here. And on either side of that were the family members that never made it to America. Mm-hmm. Because my parents wanted us to know as kids that being an American was winning the lottery ticket of life. I think I've won the lottery ticket of life and dreamt that. Now, Chicago was where my grandfather settled the family, and I became mayor of that city. Mm-hmm. But there's a bill in Congress called the Dignity Act. It has 23 Republicans and 23 Democrats. It's true to being a nation of laws, and it's true to being a nation of immigrants. You break the laws, you're out. You also respect why America gets young again, because of people from all walks of life, whether you travel the Atlantic like my family, you travel the Pacific like other families, you've crossed the Rio, or you crossed the Mississippi. Mm-hmm. You're an immigrant that has come here and made it. And our responsibility, as long as you adhere to the laws, you didn't break the laws getting here. And if you do, we're going to enforce them at the border, at the workplace. That bill, because it has 23 R's and 23 D's, wouldn't be the bill I would write. But it hits the scorecard, nation of laws, nation of immigrants. And I've already said publicly, that's the bill. Because that thing can get across a divided Congress, a divided country, and finally put this issue behind us. When you think about the amount of politics we are spending on this, tearing at each other, rather than focusing on the future. So again, as I said, the Dignity Act would not be exactly word for word what I would write. But anything that can, on this issue, brings 23 Democrats and 23 Republicans, I'm a yes. Because there ain't a lot of issues that get that much bipartisanship.
Not these days.
On that topic, this is like a third rail of American politics. So, again, it holds true to what I think are the goalposts. We're a nation of laws, and we're going to enforce them. No more cheating and get us looking the other way. We're a nation of immigrants that will respect the history of this country.
And I think people hearing the idea of having both sides of the aisle work together again has become more attractive than it has ever been.
You hit a secondary benefit, which is, I think, will shock the whole country. Will sit there breathless. They actually solved something. And so I said, I didn't have to, but I said, because there's more politics and getting criticized. I said, I'm for that. I'm good. You got 23 Republicans, 23 Democrats on an issue that burns like a hot stove. I'm for that.
And getting people to work together would also be great if you do run for president. President Obama was the first African-American president. If you chose to run.
If I chose to run.
And succeed, you could be the first Jewish president. How do you see your faith as a part of the campaign? And how would you deal with the rise in anti-Semitism in the country?
So, also another home run question. So here's what I'll say. A couple things. My faith is not your problem. The fact that Americans have lost faith in America, that's our problem. Mm-hmm. Why don't we work on that faith? And the honest truth is, if my faith is a problem for you, don't vote for me, because I ain't changing it. It has given me my moral education, my ethical boundaries. I believe in my Judaism. Only my rabbi can question whether I'm a good enough or bad enough Jew. But truly, my faith's not your issue. It's the fact that Americans, you and I know, have lost faith in this country. Let's restore that faith. Now, second is, I ran for Congress. You don't know, well, you probably do, but for your audience, I ran in a district of Chicago on the north side that's called the Polish district. It had Dan Rostenkowski, Roman Puczynski, Frank Annunzio, Rob Blagojevich, Mike Flanagan. I ran against a state rep, a Polish woman. Rahm Emanuel got elected. And it was only 2% Jewish. When everybody said you couldn't do that. And it was an ugly campaign. There were ugliness said about my faith. That goes back to 2002. Same thing when I ran for mayor. And I won. So I have seen the goodness of people that judged me on my character, what they thought I could do to help their family, and what I could do. And I'll say one other anecdote. When I was ambassador to Japan representing America, somebody, I don't know who, spray painted Nazi insignia on our fence at our house. Next day, I still don't know who, a neighbor came and cleaned it up. Never asked for credit, never told. I still don't know who did it. I don't know who did it, and I don't know who cleaned it up. So I have been both a victim of anti-Semitism. I had to show my birth certificate when I ran for Congress, one of only 5. Nobody else had to, and you know what that means. So, but I've also then been the beneficiary where people judge me by my character. And so it exists. My faith is important to me. Amy and I have tried to raise our 3 kids. I do believe this. The 3 doors a child walks through that will determine their life are the front door of the home, the front door of the school, and the front door of the place of worship. And if one of those doors are closed on a child, it will determine their growth and their education, their development. So I try to live by the ethics and morals that I've part of my education from my parents and from my faith. But I really think when you go around the country, the faith we have to work on is that a lot of people, specifically young men, have internalized this alienation. They thought America has thrown in the towel on them. Our job as a country is to give them both confidence again in themselves and faith that they can do something. Don't worry about my faith. It's the least thing you got to worry about.
Now, was there anything you want to make sure that you include for people who will be getting to know you better? They certainly won't be getting to know who you are for the first time, but getting to know you a little better through this conversation. Anything you want to include that we did not ask you?
Well, I think you'll find this a funny story. So all 3 are off to school, right?
Okay.
And they're 29, 28, and 27. And they're all doing great. If I start talking to them, I'll start crying because I'm so proud of them. Wanted to kill them when they were growing up a couple times each, but
yeah, all our parents feel like that about us.
So my first day, we're empty nesters. I get up early in the morning to go work out. So I make Amy coffee, bring it to her bed. I said, "Happy Mother's Day." That has now been going on for 8 years. Every morning, she starts off with a cup of coffee. It's downhill after that, but she starts the day with coffee by her bed to get the day. That's all you got to know.
Okay, we have one more thing before we let you go.
I thought we were ending on that, man. That was pretty good.
That was lovely. But you know, we got to get you while we have you, Rahm. Okay, so one more thing, though. Gas prices remain in the headlines.
Yeah.
How would you deal with that? And just energy as a whole. That's another really big bag of things.
You want me to just do that as a lightning round? Just how are you going to deal with that?
That's a bonus question, Rahm, a bonus.
Hey, here's the thing. You brought him up. I was honored to be President Obama's chief of staff. We outlined a strategy which is all the above. Gas, wind, solar, battery, etc. China did it, and President Trump walked away from it. And now we've just become a one-trick pony on natural gas. So I'm writing a piece. Here's what I would do. One is you got to change it so we can take geothermal, where America's a leader in technology, etc. That can be 5 to 10% of our energy. 2, standardize when it comes to small, medium-sized nuclear, so you can have these big data centers be sovereign in their energy production. Don't tap into the ratepayers. 3, you got to change the permitting system. It can't take 10 years to build new energy in this country. 4, all the hyperscalers, Amazon, Google, all these guys, hit a tax on them that does 2 things. 1, it pays for new sensors and new software, so you get 30% more efficiency from the lines. And that actually saves about $100 billion that should go back to the ratepayers. And then 4, use that resources also to train another close to 1 million electrician and linemen that we're going to need, which pays 6 figures plus healthcare and benefits, and those are middle-class jobs. Make the hyperscalers pay, dominate the new technology in geothermal, SMR nuclear, as well as in the area of the next generation battery and infusion. Make sure that as I said, the hyperscalers pay, that you're getting more efficiency out of the wires you have today. Change the whole permitting system, 24-month shot clock. You go in, you submit, you get a yes or no that way. We can't spend 10 years waiting. It's too expensive.
Well, you've given us a lot to think about, a lot to keep up with. Rahm Emanuel, Chicago's 55th mayor.
When it says keep up, I'm hoping to see you out on the bike path. We're going to bike across New
I will
Hampshire.
be there in spirit.
Okay,
we are supporting you in spirit.
When I huff and puff, I'll be feeling that spirit.
Just keep Chicago with you as you're going on and meeting all the folks in New Hampshire. It was a pleasure. And if people want to keep up with you on social media, they want to learn more, how do they do that?
They just go right there with Rahm Emanuel, and then we'll have it all for you. And you can see all the stuff we're going to be doing. We're going to be posting a lot on this bike trip. So when the Windy City meets the Granite State.
All right, that's what we like.
Okay.
Rahm, thank you so much.
Thanks
we really
for making the time.
appreciate it. And we will be right back.